Decades of discourse led by people like me, lawyers, scientists, economists, and we are stuck. They can't do what must be done, reach the human heart. The deep problems are avarice, arrogance, and apathy, dominant values badly astray. What we need is not more analysis, but a spiritual awakening to a new consciousness. So let's bring on the preachers and prophets, the poets and philosophers, the psychologists and psychiatrists. Let's bring on the writers, musicians, actors, and artists.
Our faith community has already and needs to begin to talk about this as a moral issue, because it really is, in many people's mind, and mine too, it's a moral issue. We owe it to this earth and to future generations to live sustainably on this planet and not just consume everything we can and hand off what remains to the next generation.
I love it. I personally think we don't go to church to feel good about ourselves. I mean, so we all go for different reasons. I mean, personally, I'm trying to be a better person.
Climate change is an issue that confronts every sector of our society and of the world, really. And so the question then became, what are the faith community's role in this? Our diocese, we're in the Episcopal Diocese of Massachusetts. Our bishop is up in Boston. And in the last month, they've come out with a statement declaring that climate change is a climate emergency, and that Episcopalians and other people of faith and goodwill are called to respond to this. And the response being that yes, we have to change laws and public policies to make our environment cleaner and better. Yes, there are technologies that can address this, but more than this, we have to change the way we live our lives.
Well, back to the worst case scenario of we dismiss this or we kick the can down the road once again like we've been doing for decades and say someone else will take care of it. There will be a point when it'll be too late to do anything to mitigate or to reduce some of the dramatic changes. So what will those be? Well, the sea level will rise. We've already documented that. It's been rising faster than ever. In the next 50 or 100 years, we'll see sea level rise at 3, 4, 5 feet high. That will have impacts. That's a pretty worst case scenario. I've mentioned before, food security is a big deal. If we don't have farmable lands, because the climate has either created droughts in our farm areas or flooded them out, that's a real survival problem.
There's something in the Book of Common Prayer that says, this fragile earth, our island home. Now, those are beautiful words. To me, this is the way I feel about the Cape, and it's the way I feel about the earth. Our planet. And it is fragile, and Chatham is fragile right now.
People are seeing on the news the evidence of climate change. For instance, in Chatham, if you go to Morris Island, to the weather station there, what's happening there is a big part of the bank and the stairs down have just fallen away.
I've been very aware of all the climate change problems because of living in California. Again, wildfires, again, droughts, again, water was really rationed in California. So when I moved to the Cape 6 years ago, I could I thought, here, oh my gosh, what a beautiful environment. But I could see, we're about 1.5 miles from Nauset Beach. The changes of Nauset Beach in the time I've been here have been pretty significant. The parking lot's been gone. The clam shack that was famous is gone. And so I could see, like, in real time, fast time, what climate change is doing to Cape Cod.
And I think we need to be talked to by the priest. There are other people who are just like this. They will really make it hard for him by saying that's politics. The way I feel is politics, Brian always says, translated from the Greeks, it means the work of the city. It's what we do. And he's a big believer in meditation, and reflection is wonderful, but that has to lead to action. And action means we have to do the hard things. Sometimes we have to give stuff up. And the hardest thing of all for old folks is to change our minds.
You know, my response to people who accuse me of being political and bringing a political issue into a spiritual place is that, well, number one, it's a moral issue. It has to do with how we value our world and each other, and how we treat and take care of and nurture compassionately our neighbors.
You know, politics is life. It's what we're doing. It's who we're voting for, yes, but it's more than that. It's what we advocate for.
But it's not partisan. You know, I'm not taking political sides vis-a-vis a party on this. What we're trying to do is bring sustainability and wholeness to the environment that's under threat.
I think it's really important for Cape Codders to get involved in climate action because this is our home. Again, we're on the front lines of all this. Our beaches are changing, our ponds are changing. We have like a beautiful island home, and why would we not?
And if the churches don't step up now, then we've really lost our relevancy, and all faith communities, not just churches, but all faith communities. You know, we have an opportunity, like faith communities had in the 60s with civil rights, to either slumber on the sidelines into irrelevancy or to step up. You know, as a community of faith, you know, our golden rule in Christianity is love your neighbor as yourself. Who's our neighbor? Well, it's other people, it's animals, it's pets, it's forests, it's the ocean here on the Cape, here in Chatham and other places. So how do we treat our neighbors? So this is another moral issue that we're confronted with. And really, do we see it as instrumentally? It's there as a resource for us to use to drive economic and material prosperity, or as an equal member in the community of life. We have to move from seeing, you know, in a hierarchical way, that we're at the top of the pyramid and everything serves us.
I think it's sometimes the little things that we can do, like composting, getting rid of some lawn, not using fertilizers, meatless Monday, having one day a week that we don't, you know, use meat. All those kind of things. And those are the things I think the Earth Honoring Faith Committee is really trying to push out to the parishioners at St. Christopher's.
First of all, the committee's 3 years old. And the first project that was really thrilling was having a faith and science forum at our church, which was 2 years ago in the fall. And we had, I think, 320 people there, something like that.
there's a lot people don't know, and I think they think it's such a big problem that, and they're so small, I can't do anything. So I think it's giving people both the inspiration to do something, to change, and the practices. That's why, it's educating and it's embodying practices for people, like, simple stuff around the church. We bought all ceramic coffee mugs instead of paper and all the other stuff. And, they see that, and it plants a seed. It's small, I get that, but, one step, you take the first step and then you go up the staircase.
Specifically at home, what we've done is we're getting solar installed. We think that's going to be a big difference. We've again decreased the amount of meat we eat, and I think that's been really important. And again, trying foods that are diverse foods, farro, quinoa. Again, really like changing our diets and having that biodiversity in our day-to-day diet.
Just start, if you want, start at the grocery store. Stop buying your lettuce in big, huge plastic containers. It's hard. It's really hard. But when people start changing those little practices, things will happen. Anything that you can electrify, from your lawnmower to your car, do it. Change the way you eat and change the way you shop. In other words, don't keep buying your eggs in the plastic containers, buy the ones in the cardboard.
I think it's great that St. Christopher's has gone all solar. That's been an economic issue as well, because green can be, economically feasible too. And actually all parishioners have been really excited about heating the church and cooling the church with solar power.
For instance, this church in Chatham has lobbied hard about plastics, the use of plastics, the sale of plastics in the town of Chatham. We're just putting the second phase of solar panels on this facility, and it will cover 100% of our electrical needs here at St. Christopher's. Martin Luther King didn't go about racism by quoting demographic or sociological data to people. He inspired people to change. In a way, he was knowledgeable and cognizant of the facts behind it, but his role was to inspire change and transformation. So, there's a parallel, I think, with this.
If people of faith don't care about stewardship of our earth, who will?